college.
Love that.
Edition of OutKick Bets Show. I am your host, Kayla Knierim. Joining me is my co-host and friend, Arky Shea. Arky, how's our Thursday?
9 days until Christmas, and 1 day until the bowl season, and then 0 days until our 20 straight days of football. I could not be happier. I'll be honest with you. I don't even need my family to be this happy. I'm just pumped with the sports atmosphere right now.
I think you speak for a lot of people when you say that, actually.
Oh, it's such a good time of the year. Today starts the countdown for the rest of my life, I guess.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, here we go. I'm glad. I need to get on your level. But yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Bowl season is upon us. Christmas, as you said, 9 days away. Still need to get those gifts, so thank you for that reminder. All right, we're going to kick off today's show with a little breaking news that happened overnight, as some of us found out late last night and the rest found out this morning. Urban Meyer is out in Jacksonville after a bumpy few months as head coach. Things started out rough for Urban after an 0-5 start. There was also the questionable strength and conditioning coach he hired back in February, followed by that incident in Ohio at a bar with a woman who is not Shelley Meyer, and everything seemed to go downhill from there. Where is my voice going? Rumors swirled that he had lost total control and respect in the locker room. There were more reports just this week about him yelling at players and calling his own coaches' names. And finally, that report that came out yesterday in the Tampa Bay Times that he intentionally kicked and cussed at former kicker Josh Lambo in the leg during a warm-up. This is just really bad and disappointing, honestly. Urban would have been one of the most highly regarded and successful college football coaches in history. And unfortunately, this is what people, I think, are going to remember and talk about instead. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence, who didn't ask for any of this in what should have been a really special year for the #1 overall pick, rookie quarterback. I also feel bad for Shelley and his kids, but we'll save that for another day. In the meantime, offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell will take over as interim head coach to finish out the year. The Jags have the Texans up this weekend, a game in which, ironically, they should win, both teams coming in at 2-11. Arky, obviously I want to talk about how this will change things from a betting standpoint, but really quick, your thoughts on this entire debacle and that has now come to an end, and how do you see this affecting Urban's legacy and future?
Shocking is what this was. Total non-stop shock factor in this. No, listen, Urban Meyer wasn't cut to be an NFL coach. I don't know why Shad Khan gave him the contract that he did. I guess you get a little enamored with the fact that he won a bunch of games in college, and maybe, just maybe, this is one of the few guys that can translate to the NFL. But college guys, by general rule, don't translate to the NFL. No. And we've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And this is another case. Even in the Josh Lambo article, when Josh Lambo said, "Don't you ever effing do that to me again," Urban Meyer apparently said to him, "Hey, you keep that to yourself. I'm the head ball coach. You can make me talk to me later." Like, who calls themselves the head ball coach in the NFL? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you're talking about professional 30, 35-year-old men out there. This is completely different than college. And you knew it wasn't going to work. You had to have that feeling. And yeah, you're right. Trevor Lawrence, I do feel a little bad for because he's supposed to be trying to get good at football. And he is clearly not going to be able to do that with Urban Meyer. As far as the betting line is concerned, once this news popped, the line went from 3 to 3.5 in favor of the Jaguars. And yeah, you would think maybe more, but these two teams suck. I mean, you can't expect a whole lot of movement from the head coach of a team that's already bad to get that much different. And it didn't, but it did move just a little bit. And I'll tell you, if you're going to bet the Jaguars on the spread, this is the weekend to do it. You got a terrible Texans team coming in and a newly rejuvenated Jaguars team. They may win by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, wow. I know. I think this actually turns things around for the Jags in a good way. If it really was as toxic as the report suggests, maybe the players want to show up now on the field.
Yeah, they may go from 2 to 3 wins.
Let's go. All I know is Tim Tebow needs to pull this car around and give that man a stern talking to.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, you give me a biopic on the 2008 Florida Gators. They had guys like Joe Hayden, Aaron Hernandez, Tim Tebow, and obviously Urban Meyer. Like, there were a bunch of criminals on that team, and then Tim Tebow. That's the movie I'm wanting to watch.
You and me both. And not to stay on this too much longer, but what does Urban do after this? Does he go back to coaching college football? Does he go back to Fox? What do you see him doing post NFL debacle?
Boy, Fox would be dumb to hire him right now. But I do think he tries to get back into coaching, but I think he only wants big jobs. So maybe he's flat out just done. If he doesn't want to deal with the recruiting, that's a whole lot harder than it is in the NFL, than it is just to sort of coach throughout the year. Then he may just be done as a coach. And I wouldn't be that surprised. We've seen him retire like four times already.
That's true. I mean, he was a great analyst, but I don't know if you come back from this. So TBD on Urban Meyer's future. Mm-hmm. All right, let's head into a bet last night. The Lakers get a key overtime win. Austin Reeves off the top with a 3 at the buzzer to win and cover in Dallas. Lakers 107, Mavs 104. LeBron once again, the team leader in points at 24, followed by Russell Westbrook, who was so close to getting another triple-double with 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Arky, give us your assessment on this one.
I don't think I had to be very bloviator. I don't have to bloviate much about this game in general because it's a 500 Lakers team that played about 500 basketball, played good defense for the most part in that game. But as you mentioned, it would be the Russ Westbrook experience, and we did see it last night. And what did he go for 23 last night in the game to help get the win? Anthony Davis played pretty well. LeBron played pretty well. So you get 2 or 3 of those guys clicking on the night, you have a good chance to win a bunch of games.
All right. And without further ado, heading into our game of the day. All of these lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook, and that game of the day is, of course, Thursday Night Football. The Chiefs, 9-4, 3-2 on the road at the Chargers, who are 8-5, 4-3 at home. First place in the AFC West is on the line. Will it stay with the Chiefs or go to the Chargers? We will find out tonight. Speaking of those home and away records, the Chiefs are 18-3 on the road since 2019, and the Chargers are 8-7 at SoFi. My palms are legit already sweating. I am so flipping nervous for this game. I have been both looking forward to and dreading this one. If anything else, KC, as it stands, is favored at -3. I don't know how I feel about that one with the total here of 52.5. Arky, how are you playing this Thursday night matchup?
For me, it's Chiefs or nothing in this game if you're going to play the spread because Kansas City has been so dialed in as of late. And it's both on the offense and defensive side. And yeah, there's the strong possibility that Chris Jones is not going to be playing for Kansas City tonight on that defensive side. But I don't think that makes this team defensively from a top 5 defense in the league to like a top 20 defense. I don't think there's a huge drop off with that when you lose a big bruiser like that in the middle of the line. So I think it's Chiefs or nothing. As long as you got Patrick Mahomes on the field, you got a great chance to do sort of anything. And speaking of that Patrick Mahomes,
yes.
Remember when the Chiefs were about to implode and they were 3-4 and they were just terrible? They were turning the ball over. Yeah, well, they had 17 turnovers during that 3-4 stretch.
We gave that game to the Chargers.
Yeah,
that last one.
Well, now, in the last 6 games, they've won 6 in a row. They've only committed 6 turnovers total. So, you clean up the offensive line play because these guys have had a whole lot more time to play with each other. Remember, it's like a brand new offensive line playing with each other. And then you cut down on some of those turnovers, too, some of those communication issues. You get a guy here and there, back or 2 healthy. Patrick Mahomes doesn't feel like he has to dominate the game all of a sudden. The game comes back to him just a little bit. And they're 4-2 against the spread during that 6-game streak, which is why I like Kansas City tonight on the road, despite the fact that they're getting the 3. I still think this is a touchdown or better team. I also look at the head coaching matchup. And Andy Reid is a vet. He is a veteran coach who has seen just about everything you're going to try to throw at him when he's trying to call plays, even though he's not calling all the plays right now. I don't think you put rookie head coaches against veteran head coaches and expect great results all the time. In fact, this season you saw the Chargers lose to Bill Belichick when you didn't know if the Patriots were going to be that good yet. That sort of started their run. You saw him get crushed by John Harbaugh earlier this year. I think that was a 40-6 game. And yeah, he had some success against Mike Tomlin, but the Steelers are kind of a minor disaster right now trying to figure out that roster. Mm-hmm. So I like the veteran coach against the rookie coach. I like the veteran quarterback against the near newbie quarterback, Patrick Mahomes versus Justin Herbert. And I like the Kansas City Chiefs team that's hot going on the road to try and exact some revenge in a divisional game. So give me Kansas City -3 tonight on the road.
Right there with you, pal. Love that pick. The last time these two faced off in week 3, the Chargers won at Arrowhead, but that was obviously before our defense and offense really remembered who they were and turned this thing around. And like I said, we basically gave that one to the Chargers with all the turnovers. I was feeling pretty good about this one until the COVID news started breaking so far, and I hope this is all of it. I hope we don't get any more surprises today. I don't need any more breaking news. So far, the Chiefs will be without Josh Gordon, Willie Gay, and like you said, possibly Chris Jones, who is still listed as out. And has been huge for us on defense this last month plus, all of course due to COVID, while L'Jarius Sneed will once again be out after that tragic passing of his brother. The Chargers, on the other hand, will be missing offensive tackle Rashawn Slater, who is also on COVID protocols. These teams couldn't be more neck and neck, though. Both average 27 a game. The Chiefs are allowing an average of 20, while the Chargers sit at 25. The Chiefs are putting up an average of 400 yards, and so are the Chargers. Even the quarterbacks are having similar seasons on paper. As you alluded to, Justin Herbert is 4th in yards at over 3,800 and 3rd in touchdowns at 30 with 11 interceptions on the season, while Patrick Mahomes is 5th in passing at over 3,600 yards and 5th in touchdowns at 27 with 12 interceptions. The biggest thing I'm looking at in this game tonight, Arky, is the third down factor. Chiefs are currently first in third down offense in the league, converting 52.2% of the time. They will be going up against the league's worst third down defense in the Chargers at 49.1%, so that bodes well for me. Something else to the defense, though, here has played, something else is the stronger the defense has played, the less work Kelsey has had to do. So I think that turns around tonight with those key players missing. I think Kelsey steps up, has a big night. I'm expecting a lot from 87 because he's been kind of quiet in these last few games with all the different weapons that our offense is utilizing. The Chiefs are 6-7 against the spread, while the Chargers are 7-6. Los Angeles has gone over this total of 52.5 in 5 games this season, while KC has done it in 7. I'm way too nervous to take anything else in this one except lights, camera, action. Give me the Chiefs at -3. Please and thank you.
Can I just say this? Kansas City has won 4 straight games by double digits, which is impressive and very good there, and so it adds to how hot they are. But in these primetime games, I like to have a little bit of a prop action going, right?
Yes.
So
you love your props.
Let me add a quick prop play for you guys. Sprinkle a little bit of money on the prop.
Hit us.
Patrick Mahomes at FanDuel right now. You can get this at +168. Patrick Mahomes to throw for 2.5 touchdowns or more. I take the over 2.5 touchdowns tonight and get some good, strong plus money on that for Patty Ice tonight.
Patty Ice. I like it. All right. We shall see what happens. I will either be really happy or sad tomorrow, but you won't see that because we won't be back until Monday.
That's right. We won't show you her hurt.
or victory.
You can follow her on Twitter to see her victory.
There we go. Yes, follow on Twitter. All right, moving right along to our spotlight matchup, we are headed to the NBA. The 76ers, who are 15-4, 9-7 on the road, taking on the Nets, who are 20-8, 9-5 at home. Brooklyn, just the 1-point favorite in this one, as we will get to, with a total of 213.5. The Nets are coming into this one having won 3 straight and 4 of their last 5 and sit atop the Eastern Conference. Philly, meanwhile, is coming off back-to-back losses and are 2-3 in their last 5 and are currently 7th in the East. Their last matchup was back on October 22nd, which Brooklyn got the dub, 114-109, and honestly, I don't see that looking any different here tonight. Obviously, this line is so close due to the depleted Nets roster, as 7 players are out due to COVID protocols that include James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap, Bruce Brown, James Johnson, Javon Carter, and DeAndre Bembry. With all that said, they still have the best player on the floor, and as much as it pains me to say, Kevin Durant is playing some fire basketball right now and is averaging 30 points per game. You know something else that's fire right now for KD? His Twitter game. If you missed it, Steph bought Rolexes for Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala for being the 2 that assisted his 3-pointers the most. KD was in that 3rd spot, so he tweeted the graphic and asked where his Rollie was, which was pretty funny. Anyway, in comparison, Tyrese Maxey is Philly's leading scorer, averaging 17 a game. Arky, with all this said, how will you be playing this one tonight?
Feel free to call me dumb on this one, okay?
Okay.
I've lauded how much COVID has made me very cautious, especially with the NBA picks. This week, last week even, have been a disaster as far as trying to keep up with COVID, the lines, and what you think is going to happen in the NBA. I still like the Nets -1 here, right? Like, I still kind of like the Nets at home. They're 9-5 at home. They're not a bad home team at all. They're a little better on the road. But Philly is a struggling basketball team right now. And I know that it feels like 75% of the roster or more is gone in Brooklyn. But until you tell me KD is not the guy, and I'm only getting a point in that game, this kind of season is one where Kevin Durant does do things like this. LeBron James a couple of seasons ago had that quote. He said, "These shoulders are built to be able to carry the team in situations like this." Yeah, well, maybe. But Kevin Durant's literally doing it. So I think Kevin Durant, despite the fact that he can't bench press the bar, I think he has carried this entire Nets team all season long. I feel like if somebody gets tired, maybe it's around the All-Star break because he's not showing it now.
Yeah.
Give me Kevin Durant until you tell me not to, and that means he has to tell me not to by going 3 or 4 straight games with like 12 points. But he's having an all-world type season. I love Kevin Durant in this spot, and I love the Nets -1. And I know it feels dumb because of the COVID, but I got to. I got to trust KD, the Durantula, or whatever he is now.
Cupcake?
Is he a cupcake? I think he's a cupcake. I trust him at cupcake.
I'm still not over that one, clearly. We are so on the same page today, Arky. The Nets are 12-16 against the spread, and in games they are favored by 1 or more. They are 10-14. Philly is also 12-16 against the spread and have gone 7-1 against the spread in games in which they are the 1-point dogs. Like you said, I know the Nets are playing hurt with those 7 players out. They're also coming off 2 games in 3 nights. Their last win coming in overtime when the odds were stacked against them against the Raptors. But I'm not ready to count KD out just yet. So I, too, will be taking the Nets at -1 in this one, crossing my fingers for a big performance at Barclays tonight.
I don't really care how big the performance is. Let's just get the 1, right? Like, let's just go for it.
I don't even need a big performance. It went with Barclays.
We needed a buzzer beater, even though we were on the same page for the Lakers last night. Needed a buzzer beater to get it. Maybe we do it again tonight.
That's more like it. Buzzer beater at Barclays. Please and thank you. Okay. Moving on to our quick hitters of the day. Arky, what are you looking at in your quick hitter?
I'm looking at the Los Angeles Bowl, which is sponsored by a late night host that's happening late, interestingly enough, on Saturday as Utah State. They get to play against Oregon State.
Busy weekend at SoFi.
Yeah, that's going to be I don't know. I don't know. You get the Thursday and the Saturday, and listen, the stadiums are built for that now, right? Like the turf is built to be able to look good. So let's not screw this up. This is a 7-point favorite for Oregon State, and I really don't like them at all in this game, to be honest with you. I like Utah State, and here's why. The big thing is that Utah State is a very, very good offensive team. They're very good at throwing the ball. Logan Bonner just has thrown for 36 touchdowns and just 11 interceptions this season. Logan Bonner just broke the record at Utah State for most touchdown passes thrown for a season. He broke the record of the guy that's supposed to be replacing Aaron Rodgers at some point, Jordan Love. So it's a very prolific offense, a very good offense. They just beat the crap out of San Diego State, who holds everybody to like 6 points a game. They just curb stomped them in the Mountain West Championship game. This is a momentum spot. This is a very good team against a all right Pac-12 team in Oregon State. Oregon State does average 5.5 rushing yards a game. That's good for the top 3 in the Pac-12. Like, they do run the ball pretty effectively. And listen, Coach Smith has got the guys back, believing back to bowl games, and they had a pretty nice recruiting class for early signing day yesterday. But in this game, I think it's Logan Bonner all day. So I'm going to take Logan Bonner, who's thrown for 300 yards 6 times this season, who in the last 6 games has thrown for 23 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. I'm taking Logan Bonner and Utah State +7 in the LA Bowl presented by Late Night TV.
Jimmy Kimmel. Did you even say his name? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I don't really care. Jimmy's fine. I don't really care.
Who's your favorite late night host?
Show, it ain't for me.
Do you have a favorite late night host?
I really like Conan O'Brien.
Oh, and didn't he retire?
Yeah, I think he's gone or something. I never followed him at TBS. I don't.
It's a shame. Okay.
I don't stay up late anyway. I got a 1-year-old. Like
That's true.
I've been past that for a while.
Fair. All right, I am looking at a bowl game that is technically not an FBS bowl, but I think it's important and relevant anyway. South Carolina State Bulldogs, who are 6-5, taking on Jackson State, who is 11-1 on the season. Jackson State is the 10.5-point favorite with a total of 42.5. One of these teams just got the #1 recruit in the country, and it wasn't South Carolina State. So who knows what bowl game we could see Jackson State in next season. But in all seriousness, Arky, how wild was that? Travis Hunter flipping from FSU to join Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Your thoughts?
I love that. You snag him from your alma mater and you bring him to Jackson State. And I love it for the kid, too, because he's out there saying that he wants to be one of the football guys. We've seen it happen to basketball a little bit. Want to be one of the football guys to encourage other high-level athletes to say, hey, come on, you can get a quality education. You can play good football here. And if you're worried about getting to the NFL, everyone's going to see you here. Like, you can't hide, okay? Like, if Julian Edelman gets found, you'll be found.
That's a good point. Well, today the focus is all about the Cricket Celebration Bowl and these two teams live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. By the way, this game is sold out. All that's left is standing room only. So there's that. The Bulldogs have won 4 of their last 5 after starting the season 1-4, while the Tigers' one and only loss of the season came in Week 3 against UL Monroe. These two are 2-2 all-time when facing each other. Deion's son, Shador, who also happened to be the Tigers' quarterback, has had a pretty decent season with over 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions on the year. He is also the first player from an HBCU school to win an FCS Jerry Rice Award as best freshman. However, the team has struggled to put up points, finishing under 30 in their last 8 games, which makes the spread in total a little tricky. Defensively, Jackson State is solid, only allowing an average of 13 points per game. The Bulldogs, while averaging 24 points per game, are allowing an average of 27. Tigers are 7-2 against the spread this season, and in games they are the 10-point favorite. They have gone 4-2. The Bulldogs, on the other hand, are 3-7 against the spread and 1-0 when playing as the 10-point dogs. 7 of South Carolina's games have gone over the total of 42.5, while just 5 of the Tigers' games have exceeded this number. This one is a little harder to figure out than what meets the eye, so I'm just going to risk it for the biscuit here and have some fun. I'm going to take Jackson State minus 10.5 and would lean the under of 42.5 in this one, which is kind of a wonky thing to do, but we'll go for it.
Yeah, that Celebration Bowl it's been a huge hit in Atlanta over the last several seasons, and it's been usually a lot of fun to watch. And if you like points, usually you get that in this game. The odds don't the favorite, especially for this one.
Yeah.
But who knows? Bowl games are kind of weird, so you might still see points in this game. And like I said, I didn't expect this from Deion Sanders to be able to be this good, especially this early as a head coach at Jackson State. But he's also put together a really good group of coaches around him, and prime time can recruit. What can I say?
Over under how many more years he's coaching at Jackson State before he gets pulled to a different school?
Oh, someone's going to be.
We'll put it at 2.
But would Deion be interested in them?
That's true.
I'll say 2.5. That's the over under.
Okay, fair. We'll see what happens.
You can bet
there.
whichever way you want.
Okay, I might go under there. We'll see though. He enjoys it, so that changes everything. All right, our games to look out for the weekend. Arky, what are you looking out for?
Mobile, Alabama is the host of the Lending Tree Bowl, which has Eastern Michigan taking on Liberty, the fighting Hugh Freezes of the world.
Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze signed a contract extension, and listen, excuse me, they may not be long for each other because Hugh Freeze probably wants to go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But this was the kind of season that he was supposed to be the hot candidate. He was 7-5 this year, which is a far cry from what I thought they would be. I thought they would be a 10-3 type team, or 10-2 type team. They would have been able to, go into Syracuse and beat Syracuse earlier this season. Should have, I'd say. And they would have had a couple of very impressive and interesting victories. Probably would have lost to Ole Miss, but, who knows? Instead, Hugh Freeze is back at Liberty for another year.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit of a disappointing year, I think, for them. Malik Willis has been on and off. as their quarterback as far as how well he's played. He is a dangerous dual threat kind of guy. He is a guy that you have to constantly account for, but teams have been able to do that pretty consistently this season. Eastern Michigan is a very good running team when they're winning games, but they're also a very prolific passing team too. Liberty's defensive numbers look good if you look at the totality of the season, but you got to pay attention to the last stretch, which is what's truer of the team right now. So I'm leaning to take Eastern Michigan plus 9.5 here. Again, double-digit favorite teams, which is essentially what you would be expecting Liberty to do here, to win by double digits. I don't like them in bowl games. It's just a lot to ask in general. But Eastern Michigan, in their last 3 wins, they've gone over 145 rushing yards in each of those games. And that is not bad. It's not tremendous. But that's how you know this team is a little bit more balanced, along with their really good passing games. So Eastern Michigan, I think, is ready for this game. I think Eastern Michigan taking on Liberty will be a high enough profile game for them. And come on, it's a pretty neat little bowl game in Mobile. They've had this bowl game there for like a couple of decades now. I think it's good for both these two teams to be here. And I'm leaning right now plus 9.5. I haven't made a play yet, but that's where I sort of sneak in it right now if I'm going to make a play and lean right now. But I really think Eastern Michigan is going to be a lot better than people are going to give them credit for.
How far are you from Mobile? Can you go to this one?
I mean, I could. I can go anywhere I want. There's airplanes. It's probably 4 hours from my house.
Arky with the jokes, always. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, it would be a drive. It'd be a long night for me. Yeah, sure.
All right, well, I am looking out to the NFL. Washington at the Eagles, both teams sitting at 6 and 7. Philly is the 7-point favorite in this one with a total of 44. Both teams second and third in the NFC East, respectively. Washington has won 4 of their last 5, but are coming off a loss to Dallas. The Eagles are 3 and 2 in their last 5, coming off a win over the Jets. Jalen Hurts is still listed as questionable with an ankle injury, as Gardner Minshew played in their last game with a win over the Jets. But get this, Arky. There are 30 Washington players who are either on the COVID list or injured list. So that is definitely not great. This doesn't even feel like a fair fight. I'm surprised it actually hasn't been postponed at this point. Washington is 2 and 6 straight up in their last 8 against Philly. The Eagles are 6 and 3 against the spread in their last 9. If these teams are playing at full strength, I would probably take Washington. But then again, the lines would be different. But based on all these circumstances surrounding Washington, I don't even know how much more we need here. I'm going to take Philly at -7 and would definitely lean the under of 44. Who knows what will happen? But this just feels like a disaster going into this game on Sunday.
Yeah, we've talked about how Baltimore's been destroyed by injuries and such. Washington's a very similar team as far as how badly they've been beaten up. I mean, literally, they just got like their best player back a couple weeks ago, and like Logan Ryan obviously could be considered one of their best offensive players. And then he immediately goes down with an ACL, and he's got for the year again. Like, they have been just bitten by the injury bug, and they've remained competitive much more than people sort of think they should have. But man, it's going to be tough. Again, a division matchup against Philadelphia on the road, and all those bodies out. Not easy. Not easy.
So many games being affected by COVID. So many lines being affected. I'm ready for this thing to be over.
COVID or football?
COVID, never football.
That's right. That's my girl. That's what we're talking about. More ball.
More ball. Ball is life.
Ball is life.
All right, let's take an overview of our picks from the day. With Chiefs at Chargers, Arky is taking KC -3. I am also taking Kansas City at -3. With the NBA, we're looking at the 76ers at the Nets. Arky is taking the Nets at -1. I am also taking the Nets at -1. As far as bowl games, Arky is looking at the LA Bowl and is taking Utah State at +7. I am all eyes on the Celebration Bowl and taking Jackson State at -10.5 and leaning the under, but not on the record. Games to look out for, I am taking I'm taking Philly -7, and the under of 44 in that one. So that is a wrap up of today's picks on OutKick Bets the Show. Arky, do you have any plans for the weekend?
Ball. What are you talking about? Ball. Lots and lots and lots of ball.
I was just testing you.
Thank
Sportspalooza. Sportspalooza.
Yeah, there's 7 bowl games on Saturday. I'm going to be busy.
What's not to love?
That's right.
We're going to be busy. Busy weekend of sports ahead. We hope you all enjoy it. Don't forget to make your picks at FanDuel.com/OutKick. That is Arky Shea. I am Kayla Knierim. We hope you have a great weekend. We will see you back here on Monday for OutKick Bets the Show. Have a good one, everyone.